Hello again, everybody. How are we? What? Wow. Okay. Hello there. That was interesting. We are making a barbacoa Benny. We are making a barbacoa Benny today, which is eggs Benedict with barbacoa, and it's inspired by a dish at I don't know, is it famous? Kind of like a mid-tier chain restaurant in the American West Southwest called Snooze AM Eatery. So although I did work at Snooze, I never actually prepared this dish. I just visually saw it all the time. So here is my, imitation barbacoa Benny. What we are going to make first is Pico De Gallo, because we need to make Pico De Gallo to go with the Benedict at the end. Nice little cold and fresh element to the dish. And you're going to take some plum tomatoes, core them, take the seeds and the stems out so that you eliminate a lot of the liquid, and then just chop them up pretty small. Don't leave it too big. You want to get just kind of cut them long ways first, and then turn them on the side and dice them, toss them in a bowl, and then we're going to combine them with the rest of the ingredients. But we do want to get a pretty fine dice on these. Usually at a restaurant they'll use a robo coupe with a cutting attachment to do this part, and even the onion and stuff give it a totally consistent preparation, and it's all consistent throughout. So dice the onion up about a quarter of a large onion or half of a medium onion, and if it falls apart on you like this, just keep your calm. Everything's gonna be all right. Everything's not going to be all right. I'm not going to lie to you about that. But in regards to the food aspect, yeah, everything will be fine. One jalapeno, cut off the ends, cut it down the center, remove the seeds and the stem, or retain some of the seeds if you want it to be hot. I mean, if you want. The barbacoa is already pretty hot. Little matchstick action, sideways. Again, yeah, you don't want to make a huge piece of jalapeno. You want to make sure that you get it nice and small so that it's throughout the entire pico and you get a little bit of everything when you bite down on it. Go ahead and juice half of a lime on top of your ingredients. And I just want to show you how much tomatillos I had to use, how many rather, to make all the tomatillo salsa, the Salsa Verde, which you can check out in my other recipe. How to do that. We're going to microplane some garlic so that it's super, super pulverized and it kind of just melts into the pico. And then finally, we're going to take some cilantro, some fresh cilantro. Though I don't know anyone who really uses dry cilantro. I think that would be absolutely off the fucking rails. Chop up the cilantro, rough chop, not too crazy. Again, not too crazy. Yeah, I say that a lot. It's almost like I'm suggesting to actually do something crazy. Salt, pepper, and then we're just going to mix it together with a large spoon. Toss it and make sure that the salt is covering everything and that this can kind of begin to de-juice when we plate it. When I plated it, I put a ton of juice on the plate because I blanked again. But you don't want to do that. You want to use a slotted spoon when you pick that pico out of there. Okay, we're going to make the tortilla cakes, which is going to start with the salsa verde on the bottom of the pan, shake it around, make sure it's fully coated, and then begin to layer your tortillas. This is going to be a really interesting idea in terms of like what to have as a base for an eggs benedict is this tortilla cake. You're going to cut it with a ring mold at the very end and then just plop everything on top. But you can just eat this. There's a lot of residual stuff left over when you cut all the cakes out, and you can just use that daily for cooking with over easy eggs and making a quick chilaquiles. Which again, I mean, this isn't a Mexican food channel, but yeah, sometimes it feels like it very early in the stages here of what are the recipes I do. It's just, it's the flavors that I enjoy probably the most. Let's take a second then while we dump cotija cheese on each layer of salsa verde, because you're just going to rinse and repeat Salsa Verde, tortillas, cotija. No. Tortillas, salsa verde, cotija. Tortillas, salsa verde, cotija. There's no place like home. So, there you go, tortillas. Mexican food, right? Well, I think that, think of an American breakfast, giant fucking stacks of, dessert, right? Dessert. Let's not sugarcoat it. Didn't even mean to say that. Let's not, but that's exactly what we do. Just, it's loaded, man, with trash. I mean, butter and sugar, and it's trash I like. I mean, I'm fucking Oscar, I live in the trash can. But breakfast, pancakes, how many times can you have pancakes a month? Twice? This Mexican breakfast or Latin American breakfast, something like beans and eggs or something, that's actually good for you. It's just a pile of sugar. I was talking to a friend recently about Cookie Crisp. I mean, that's kind of the embodiment, the most preposterous American breakfast, right? Cookies in a bowl. Cookies for breakfast. Cookies. There's the cake. Put in the oven, 375, about 25 minutes, 30 minutes. It's done, and now we are going to cut it after it has been cooled. It has been cooling in the fridge until it is completely cooled so that we can cut the cakes, and they pop right out. If you did not do this, it would be a complete nightmare. So just do the cuts as close as you can so that you get the most out of it. And then you're going to just, obviously don't discard. You could put this, you could put this in soup. If you made chicken and tortilla soup, you could put these cuttings that you'll see right there in my left hand, which I ate an incredible amount of. You could put those cuttings in soup or something like that. It would be really good. We're going to need to poach some eggs. So fill a medium saucepan with water, put it on the stove, and then put a stick of butter in a small pot for our hollandaise and get that going, get that melted. Then you're going to need to separate 4 eggs, yolks from the whites. And you could do it the shell way or you can do it the finger way. I don't really personally care which way you do it, just don't get any shell in there. And you're going to watch as I manage to mess this up. Where the egg just bursts, the yolk just bursts in my little fingers here. I try to save it. It's okay. We got 4 egg yolks in there. There's plenty of liquid. Lemon juice, pinch of cayenne. At this point, your butter should be melted, so go ahead and start drizzling that in very slow, whisking very fast to make sure it doesn't break. And whisk and pour until your hollandaise is ready to go. Cover it with some tin foil and then just put it like on your oven or a warm spot to keep until you are ready to top at the very end. Crack your eggs into 2 small bowls and then add about a tablespoon of vinegar, distilled white vinegar, white wine vinegar, whatever, into your water when it is just barely hot. Like, the bubbles need to be really small and like just going to the surface, not boiling and not simmering either. Okay? Got it? Good. Heat up some oil in a pan and then sear off your cakes. Stir your water so that it makes a vortex, egg vortex, and then slowly put your egg in so that it gets captured by the pull of the whatever, I don't know what it is, centrifugal force, I don't know. And then it'll kind of all warm up and turn on top of each other and encase itself. And actually the bowl broke. The bowl cracked in my hand while I was doing that. So I don't know if I ate a small piece of glass or who knows. Flip your tortilla cakes. Just make sure they get nice and hot, nice and warm and steamy. And then in about 2 minutes or so, you should have your eggs poached to a nice medium. Don't poach them hard. Why would you poach them hard? You just have hard-boiled eggs. You don't need to do that. If you're going to do that, don't tell me about it. Okay, got it. Getting another text here. Pop the cakes onto the plate. Remove anything unsightly. And then top it with some of your barbacoa, which we made in another recipe. So go watch that one as well. And, make sure it's hot. Like, temperature-wise hot. You're going to need to make a little, like, nest here for the egg to sit on nicely. Oh man, this stuff is so incredible. You could just put it in a food saver, like a freezer bag, and have it at any time. You make a bunch of it at once. There we go. Now we got the eggs going. nestled on top. Beautifully poached eggs. And the hollandaise, what we would do at this point is, hopefully it's still warm. And go ahead and dump some of the salsa verde into it. Mix it together. So now you have verde hollandaise. Green eggs, right? Pico De Gallo goes on last because it's cold. Try not to get as much juice as I did. Although, ultimately it's not a big deal. And then, obviously, you got to drink beer at 11:45. Cotija cheese on top to finish it off. And then enjoy. This is a real big one to make for folks who come to your abode